So, why can't black people be weird? Went to a Midwest emo show recently and there was an all-black band and everybody was very confused by this phenomena. Midwest emo bands are primarily a bunch of white guys in their garage and their parents have a very nice house that actually has a garage. I didn't grow up with a garage. I'm very mad about this. And they're singing about their sadness. They're singing about Panucci's pizza. They're talking about modern baseball. Who knows? They're just saying Midwest emo garbage. I don't know, law dispute. But I sent the performance to one of my black friends and they said, man, them black people weird, man. That's strange. This very revelation baffled me ever so slightly because I thought we moved past this. Why are black people still not allowed to be weird? I mean regular weird. The harmless kind of weird, you know? Human weird. I want you to listen to the cadence of my speech for one moment. Now, naturally, you would assume I talk like a person. However, if you are in certain social spaces, you might even say that I talk white. As a matter of fact, I enjoy mayonnaise. I feel as though I've gotten my entire black card revoked just by simply enjoying mayonnaise. If you listen to metal, play Smash Bros competitively, collect Pokemon cards, wear a sweater vest, date outside your race, don't like basketball, don't know every single rap song from 2007, or God forbid, say you don't season your food with enough paprika? Oh my goodness, the Black Council is gonna have to revoke your black card. You're cut. Well, you see here, cuz you actually violated Article 4, Section 2 of the Black Constitution. See right here, see, you dating outside your race. See, you can't be peppering with these snow bunnies. Can't be out here with these pogs. Can't be doing that to yourself. That's nasty. You're poisoning your mind. Then you have to have some crazy rebuttal. But I'm doing it for reparations, you see. I'm doing this for reparations, you see. I'm dating this white girl for reparations. Explain the mayonnaise. Drats. Alright, I can't say the N-word anymore. I gotta say the N-word now.
And I wish black people wouldn't give anime fans such a bad rep. Watching anime is not weird. It's only weird to you because you're equating our anime obsession with being obsessed with Asian and we want to go and get a handful squeeze of them Asian yitties. Like, it's so ugly. If we as black people don't act in the correct behaviors of a black person, we're seen as wanting to be white. That way of thinking is the equivalent of a non-black person wanting to put on a black accent, and then that accent always ends up being the ATL accent. Like, we're all over the map. ATL accents, we have the Memphis accent, Florida accent. Because you think that black people are all supposed to perform in a certain way, anybody who acts outside of that wants to be white.
What's fascinating is that people assume this pressure must primarily come from some gigantic racist force trying to keep black people trapped inside of these certain stereotypes in order to perpetuate this harm amongst black people. Sometimes it absolutely does, but sometimes the person telling you you're not black enough is more than often than not another black person. And I think this makes it a bit more complicated than I'd like to admit. I want to believe there's a Megatron, a Skeletor, a Thanos, one gigantic enormous snake slithering around responsible for all evil. Shout out Christianity. But no, it's actually a really simple and very depressing situation going on. So let me explain what's happening. Sometimes communities develop unhealthy behaviors for completely understandable reasons. Black solidarity is real. And historically, it has been necessary for black people to exist. When the outside world treats you differently based on your skin, shared identity becomes protection amongst all these things. Community of black people is their survival mechanism. There are experiences that another black person can sometimes understand without you giving them a 30-minute PowerPoint about their entire life and explaining all the specific minutia. I can just look at another black person and tell, yeah, we went through the same stuff. I can tell. I just know. Tell me if you went through this as a black person. Somebody said something, just something weird about your hair or asked to touch it or something of that variety. Or maybe they said it resembled sheep's wool. The teacher who assumed something about you just because it was you as a black person. Somebody followed you around a store, right? The first time you realize adults were interpreting you differently from your white friends. Just that first moment. We've all had that, right? Whether you're rich, whether you're poor, whether you're suburban, whether you're rural, whether you're an immigrant, whether you're American born, our experiences are not identical, but racism has a really disturbing ability to find people across all class lines. That's where cultural shorthand comes in. You know, AAV and stuff like that. We recognize certain jokes, certain looks, certain experiences. Black people sometimes bond the way that Naruto Uzumaki bonds with everybody. The prerequisite for friendship in Naruto is mutually acknowledging that life has been beating the absolute out of both of us. And I think that kind of solidarity is beautiful. But my biggest issue with a lot of this is that a lot of solidarity becomes a lot of conformity overall. So eventually the checklist that happens is the bond that was supposed to be our shared experience. There's a checklist to be black. Whether somebody qualifies as authentically black, you have to speak correctly, dress correctly, eat correctly, listen to the right music, laugh at the right jokes, date the right people, have the right hobbies, carry yourself with the correct amount of the swagger of a black teen. And if you don't, here comes the Carlton Banks comparisons. See, Carlton became cultural shorthand for black person who supposedly crossed too far into whiteness, educated, preppy, proper, dancing strangely. It's not unusual to be loved by anyone. Carlton's still black. Don't know if you know that. Carlton is still black. I should probably talk about talking white, huh?
Dude, you're like one of those whitewashed black people.
Hey dude, you're one of the good ones.
You don't talk like a black guy. You talk so proper.
What exactly does whiteness sound like to you? Vocabulary, pronunciation, being articulate, being awkward? I don't know. I'm not quite sure. I'm curious what you think it is. Go ahead and tell me in the comment section down below. If speaking standard English automatically belongs to white people, we have accidentally handed white people ownership of language itself and of having articulation when it comes to speaking. When somebody uses African American vernacular English, people outside the community might call them unintelligent. And when that same person code switches into a different dialect, somebody inside the community calls them fake. So where in God's name are they supposed to stand? You get punished for one direction for sounding too black and punished for another direction for sounding too white. There's no freedom in this. I am performing an identity that does not qualify or quantify who I exactly am. Why are we limiting black excellence to make us sound uneducated in every capacity? Why is unintelligence the common standpoint of blackness? And if you are truly a true ally, I beg of you to explain this to me. Go ahead, give me your dissertation in the comment section down below. Don't know why, but I've been thinking about the Pringles mascot recently. Don't know what's wrong with him recently. I just ate a Pringle, so that's just stuck in my mind. Anyway, back to the video. You guys ever date interracially? If you are black and date outside your race, you are a traitor. A black man dating a white woman must secretly hate black women. A black woman dating a white man must have abandoned black men and want to be a slave. Somebody dates Asian, Latino, Middle Eastern, whatever, and people start calculating all the racial loyalty percentages. This is like an NBA 2K character creation. It's so fun. I did that for black people. I imagine black people would love 2K, you know, because I love stereotypes so much. And all black people play 2K. You know about that, right? You grass 2K. You know what it's like. You know about basketball. You're basketball Americans, right? This is kind of evil. Obviously, internalized racism exists. Fetishization exists. I imagine that there are a lot of people that date a specific race because they are obsessed with that specific race. But you cannot look at every single interracial couple walking through Target and determine their racial politics from aisle 12. That's insane. Sometimes two people just met and liked each other. You ever considered that? I don't know if you've considered this phenomenon or possibility. That's a real thing that happens. I don't know if you've seen that before in your life. Let's talk about my favorite subject.
This is another episode of Black Men Doing White People Activities. We're out here in Austria. We got 50 of us to come out to Austria.
Wait, were we meant to come up here?
I don't know, bro.
I don't think we're
I don't know if we're supposed to be here, man. But I've never been skiing. I have no experience. I don't know what I'm doing. So pray for me. If you guys have any tips on what to do and what not to do, please let me know, because we're here for a week. There's 50 of us. And yeah, let's follow along on the journey.
We're doing it for the history books. Let's do it.
Apparently, black people can only enjoy certain things before somebody starts looking at you and saying, hey, I've never seen a black person like this. This is a little bit new. Black people get made fun of for liking anime, tabletop games, cosplay, alternative fashion, skateboarding, heavy metal, theater, fantasy novels, gardening. Gardening. We have stopped gardening. I love gardening, by the way. I want to point that out. Gardening is really fun for me. I was gardening a few weeks back and somebody said, hey, I never seen a black person garden. I'm sorry, we have a community garden. I live in Detroit. What are you talking about? A black person runs this community garden. I go to the community garden every Wednesday to get broccoli. This is a regular thing. Now, I do want to point out that historically, all the things I just mentioned have been very heavily associated with whiteness in totality. As a matter of fact, I went to a metal show recently, and it was like I was a lone piece of pepper in a sea of salt. It was crazy. Now, in Detroit, it's significantly less prevalent because most of our population is, I don't know, black people. See, this is Michigan right here, shaped like a mitten. If you go to the Upper Peninsula, right up there, you see right there, I walked into a comic book store in this area because I heard that there was a comic that I wanted. It was a Dark Knights metal comic that was very nicely minted. I really wanted this comic, right? Everybody looked at me and they thought I was pure evil. It's really sad. It's very sad. Now, there is a real phenomena of a lot of young black nerds, blurs, one might say, only dating white women simply by virtue of, well, all the black girls that I like thought I was a lame and they think I'm weird. And that's strange in a lot of ways, but I understand where that comes from because a lot of people consider them lame or nerdy or weird and not fitting the status quo.
Are white girls the savior of nerdy black guys, unattractive black guys, and overweight black guys? They seem like they have no judgment in their bone. Even though a lot of those guys initially wanted to be with ghetto rubies, our beloved queens. But you know, if you're not a certain physical type or financial type, they don't accept you. And that's fine and dandy because a woman needs to love and like what she wants. But are white women, Asians, Hispanic, saviors of the nerdy black guys, the unattractive ones, the socially awkward ones? They're scooping them up and making them husbands, and these husbands are paying all the bills, putting them in big houses, conquering nations, and showing them love and affection. I'm wondering, are y'all the savior, white women?
I think some of this comes from fear. When your culture has repeatedly been mocked, stolen, commercialized, and misunderstood, people become protective of it. There is a legitimate anxiety that somebody separating themselves from black culture might also be separating themselves from black people. Historically, there were survival incentives behind respectability politics too. Maybe if we dress perfectly, speak perfectly, behave perfectly, the society will treat us better. That promise repeatedly failed because the mentality of racism always survived. Then another form of policing developed in the reaction to respectability politics, proving you're authentically black by rejecting anything associated with whiteness. Now you got two prisons. One tells you to suppress your blackness to gain acceptance from white society, and the other tells you to suppress your individuality words to maintain acceptance with black society. Either way, somebody else is deciding how much of yourself you're permitted to show, and that's really sad. In reality, it's like this cow maze meme. You see this one? It's exactly this. I'm not gonna put words on this. You know the meme. It's this. You get to the same endpoint of a prison. You're getting to prison one way or another. Black boy. Racism. Social media has made authenticity policing very, very bad. I want you to imagine this. Picture this in your mind for a moment. Somebody says, "Black people, what's something that will get your black card revoked?" And obviously, it's jokes. But jokes often reveal cultural expectations. Repeat them enough, and somebody growing up outside these expectations start wondering whether something is wrong. Something is wrong with them. Oh, that's wrong. A black nerd will start being ridiculous. The quiet black kid starts forcing slang. The alternative black girl feels embarrassed about her music choices. The black kid who grew up in the suburbs starts exaggerating experiences they never had because they're terrified somebody would say they aren't really black. That's stupid. That's just, I've seen that so many times. It's really dumb. Now we've recreated stereotype enforcement in ourselves. It's weird. But they're gonna say they're protecting the Black experience has never been one exact thing. Black America alone contains descendants of enslaved Americans, recent African immigrants, Caribbean families, mixed families, people from Detroit, Atlanta, New York, rural Mississippi, Crickler, Humpback, Los Angeles, Seattle, tiny towns where there are 17 black people and everybody knows each other. There are black Christians, Muslims, atheists, Buddhists, conservatives, socialists, gamers, athletes, professors, mechanics, drag queens, soldiers, goths, cowboys, suburban dads aggressively comparing lawn equipment to each other. I love that so much. It's very fun to watch them compare that to each other. Aunties who have watched every Tyler Perry movie ever created, and somebody somewhere who is currently playing competitive Smash Bros. While smelling completely fine despite the allegations. I know who you are. I've seen you. You're a good person. There cannot possibly be one correct personality for all those people. Blackness itself contains entire universes. Trying to shrink that into a handful of acceptable behaviors actually makes our culture smaller than what it is. I want black kids growing up now to understand something I wish more people were told a lot earlier. You do not owe anybody a performance of your blackness. Be weird, be corny, be quiet, be loud, listen to rap, listen to country, listen to Mongolian throat singing while building Gundams, your gunpla. I don't really care. Do whatever you want. Speak AAVE, speak standard English, switch between both, code switch it up. Date somebody black, date somebody outside your race. Don't date anybody. Be asexual, be me. That's cool. Eat mayonnaise. Hate mayonnaise with your whole chest. Please season the chicken though. I do have limits. But understand that your blackness is not a membership card somebody else gets to confiscate when you become inconvenient to their expectations. Our ancestors survived enough attempts by the world to define what black people were actually allowed to be, and I don't want that for you. I really don't want that for you. That'd be horrifying. The black experience deserves to include the nerd, the athlete, the hood kid, the suburban kid, the immigrant, the queer kid, the introvert, the anime obsessive, the church auntie, the atheist philosopher, Carlton Banks, and, I'll say this with a grain of salt, Will Smith. You're allowed here too. Community should mean that you have somewhere to belong to while being yourself. If solidarity requires everybody becoming the same person, then that is not solidarity anymore. Blackness is enormous. Let people be wildly strange inside of it and let them be black. Please, I beg of you, to let them be black. Well, that's all I have to say. If you enjoyed this video, which I sure hope you did, then it would be very much appreciated if you popped on over to the Patreon. I'm trying to get half my entire audience to follow the Patreon. That'd be super sick and super cool. Now, if you don't like all these edits and just want me to talk to you on a one-on-one basis, I do have a side channel called Just Saros where I just speak to people. It's much less sporadic. And if you want to see me in person, I'll be at YomaCon in Detroit. That's right, YomaCon, baby. I'm doing 10 panels. Boom, 10 panels. That's so many panels. It's disgusting. It's at the end of October. I'm going to YomaCon. Hope you guys will enjoy that whole thing. So yeah, have a lovely day or night wherever you're at, and I'm out. Peace.
I'm your nigga night, be my loyalties low. Ooh, happy to try what you need. Your world, I love to live in it. Ooh, I love the ride when you